It is September 17th, 2025. This is episode 7 of my book, Uriel's Word, A Lightworker's Journey. From the foreword. This is a nonfiction book and is dedicated to all the valiant starseeds, lightworkers, healers, shamans, spiritual warriors, mystics, peacemakers, and seers, old and young, and their intrepid helpers, who have come here in the service of humanity at this time of great change. All persons' names have been changed. There's a few exceptions that are harmless. Here's a poem by Hafiz, it quoted from page 148 of A Year with Hafiz by Daniel Ladinsky. Enduring the absurd. Such a dignity can come to us enduring the absurd with forbearance and humor. Elegant becomes the countenance of one who exemplifies patience. Chapter 16, 84 White Swans. Monday, March 16th, 2020. From Journal Book 272, page 116. Quote, I just heard birds honking above, looked up, and overhead were 84 white swans in a V, flying from southeast to north-northwest. Their white so bright in the sun against the blue sky, it was like glitter. Wow. I watched until they spread out into a miles-long line of sparkling, flashing white. Unquote. When I wrote this, I was sitting out in my TARDIS booth, which my neighbor built for me beside his driveway, with my morning tea and a smoke and a journal, and was rereading excerpts from Paramahansa Yogananda's autobiography of a yogi, when this huge V of swans flew overhead. From Journal Book 273, page 11, from Autobiography of a Yogi, by Paramahansa Yogananda, page 460 of the paperback. Quote, Paramahansa, the title bestowed on Yogananda by his guru, is literally Parama, highest, Hansa, swan. Swanamit? The white swan is mythologically represented as the vehicle or mount of Brahma, the creator. The sacred Hansa, swan, is thus a symbol of spiritual discrimination. Unquote. March 16th to 17th. In the calendar is a date to note, for it to me seems to be a portal of death and birth. It's just before the spring equinox. Let's see, it was the date for the monarch butterfly on the moon pyramid on the Avenue of the Dead in Mexico. It was when I had a stillbirthed infant, and birth-death was the same event. It is my eldest nephew's birthday and my mother's, his grandma's, death day. So this V of Swan showed up when I was thinking of my mom on the anniversary of her death, and her totem was swan, which is about woman medicine. Chapter 17, Mystic Dreams. The shaman is the one who dreams. That's a quote by Robert Moss. October 19th, 1996. Book 40, page 20. Quote, dreamt I was on a lovely street of wealthy Victorian houses and lots of majestic trees. I looked up into a beautiful large front yard. There was an autumn, maybe summer feel to it, and saw 2 Persian-type carpets, as if by magic. There was something magical about them, and how they just materialized before my eyes. They were end to end hovering in the air, just above the ground, undulating gently as if alive, and they each had just one large paisley-shaped design in the most brilliant glowing colors of peacock blue and green. The color was so intense and luminous, phosphorescent almost unreal. Maybe that's what made them seem so alive. Then in front paraded a larger-than-life male peacock very close to me, in the same intense luminous colors, with gold and purple and all the peacock colors. Then a female friend of mine was with me, and then a big gold mastiff dog advanced towards us in a serious manner. We were afraid, but I reassured my friend with an embrace, placing myself in front of her protectively, and then gazed at the dog intently with love and assurance that we meant no harm and were there in peace and love. The dog responded by relaxing its guard. I called this the magic carpet dream. November 21st, 1996, Book 40, page 140. I dreamt I was a yellow bear. Also, there was a yellow wand. November 29th, 1996, page 145. I dreamt I was watching a darling toddler dressed in a royal purple overall, and then some part where I picked up two fairly long and substantial crystals, like short wands. April 26, 1998, Book 49, page 84. I dreamt I was coming out of some function into a large, crowded foyer. I'm wearing a red dress, and I take a foot or two length of red string and put it onto the shoulder and chest of a big, solid man, wearing a fine charcoal black suit. He's got short black hair, bald on top, very well groomed and fit. He has beautiful, smooth, tan skin and beautiful hands, strong and masculine, but also manicured. I grasp a finger or two of this string motion and playfully begin to dance with him, twirling under slowly once or twice, and then he grasps firmly and puts his energy into this motion too, and soon I am spinning, whirling faster and faster till I feel I'm flying, or I'm out of my body, or I'm in the center of it, very still, altogether there and peaceful, liberated. When I stop spinning, finally, people around me express praise, and I accept it, saying, "Thank you," and this man is beaming and pleased too. Unquote. This dream reminds me of Gaya Samaja, esoteric communion Buddha in the Tibetan Buddhist deities, and the instruction. Consider any area of your present form as limitlessly spacious. I mean, really. Consider any area of your present form as limitlessly spacious. September 15th, 1998, Book 52, pages 81 to 83. I dreamt I'm part of a gathering, although, as is so often for me, I feel apart in the midst. I belong somehow, but I'm not sure of it. I'm there, but I don't know what I'm doing there, or why. It's a gathering with others of the same community. In what sense, I'm not sure. Geographical, spiritual, is there a division? Is it an event? I think so. Is it a holiday or other celebration? Or wedding or funeral? Is it political? I don't know. Mature people are there, and youth too. I'm on the youthful end of the scale, maybe 24 or 25. Then a scene where I'm being encouraged to choose objects from a collection presented to me on display. It's casual but important somehow, and I'm reminded of the methods used to find the new Dalai Lama in Tibet. But I feel like I'm being told with glances, subtle body language, or even direction from one particular elder's mind to mine. I feel like I'm cheating. It's not authentic then, or even that it's a trick to confuse me, make me doubt. I choose one slender piece of wood because of such perceived cues, then put it back thinking, oh, that's cheating. And is it my choice, really? But then I quickly reclaim it, choose it, because I know it's the one for me anyways, no matter how I know it. I go with what I know despite all of this. Nothing is said to me afterwards that I remember, nothing official. Then when it is night, I am urged to go on with the others my age, walking off into the darkness, some light diffused from above, its source not clear. I am shooed gently, and my coat is peacock blue quilted, like the one I wore at age 24 in real life. It's the only coat of that color. All the others are wearing the same coat, but all in the same green. I'm treated with deference, kindness, gentleness, but firmly too. Without being told, I understand that I have never lost my wonder and innocence. I feel I am a child, spread my arms out like wings, run and wheel after the others, knowing I am Buddha. So many feelings I list about this. I'm an equal and yet set apart, chosen for this. I feel unsure and yet sure. I feel in the world but not of the world. I feel like a child and yet ageless, old. I feel tender and vulnerable and yet watched over and intimately protected and safe in the dark. I bring up the rear and yet I am the leader. October 22nd, 1998, Book 53, page 168 to 169. I was with people, walking out to a lone car in a large open parking lot with an elderly black gentleman who leaned on a cane to walk and perhaps leaned on my arm too. I felt that he was supporting me as much or more than I was supporting him. I was then singing with one or more others, and I was being recorded informally. I sang a black spiritual in an increasingly powerful and true voice. I sang with this power in my chest and throat. It was a big, strong, true sound that came out of me, and it was simple, pure, but also had the coloration and vocal dexterity of a master. To my amazement and others' amazement, I had a splendid voice. It poured out of me without me knowing how. It was a gift I didn't know I had, a sudden miraculous dispensation or discovery of a latent gift. It was awesome. And I seem to recall that there was another old black man on my other side, and they both encouraged me to sing strongly because I was afraid of being too loud and over the other voices. Yet when the song ended, I hardly paused before talking as if nothing unusual had happened. Like I was an old hand at this stuff, and maybe to cover up my shyness, or prevent praise or reaction, or to make it seem la-di-da and not unusual or anything. Also, my voice really took over. It was so powerful. I felt self-conscious that though I sang this way spontaneously and had to go with it, I'd called attention to myself and had drowned out all the others' weak and tentative voices. Even though I'd been so encouraged by those two old gentlemen, even though the magnificence of my voice, its discovery, could not be denied by me or anyone else. Wow, another wish fulfillment dream. Years later, I sang tenor in a largish circle group, and on occasion did have a powerful, resonant voice. It was balanced mostly. We were always happy to have more bass singers, that deep underlayer. October 31st, 1998. 1988. Book 10, page 34. Quote, told myself before bed that I would dream something illuminating or helpful. I dreamt that I was dancing in zero gravity, only there was control, i.e., I was traveling in a straight, more or less horizontal line, but I could bend the rules a lot, i.e., do slow somersaults in the air, move rollingly in impossible angles, and move instantly backward and forward long distances. Also, there was no sense of ground. In orientation there was, but in sensation on the soles of the feet, just air, but no visual orientation or ground. It seemed to be a kind of thick twilight we were moving through. There was another fellow with me, and we bumped into each other accidentally on purpose. We seemed to be traveling the same way, and it was by affection that one made contact. It was friendly, warm, sort of awkward, gangly, and innocent, this dancing on air. I seemed to be newly trying it out, experimenting with the sensation, trying out the moves one by one and getting the feel of it. Also, the music I was dancing to wasn't heard with my ordinary ears or hearing. It was more of an insistent internal beat, but not loud or overwhelming. Sometimes I wasn't even aware of it. It was a permeating rhythm with variations. It was delightful and fun, no fear. August 6, 1985, Book 5, page 186. Quote, slept well and had a dream which left me feeling good. The thing I wanted to memorize, was more a feeling, an experience that I felt, which was that in traveling paths, I experienced inside as outside, and outside as inside, and the very large as very small, and small as large. Also, this was experienced in the dream in connection with painting. It was a wonderful, peaceful, and fulfilling feeling. March 12, 2024, Book 285, page 166. Quote, dreamt I was in the center of the earth. Not sure how, via some vertical shaft. Vague now, but it felt still and calm. Had more dreams, then went back to Earth's center. No dust. No robbers or other crap. No need for security measures. I woke up feeling peaceful. Spring 1985, Book 5, page 39. Quote, dreamt a clear voice spoke and said, when the reflection and the reality are one, merged identical, then there will be peace, wholeness. Then I was walking through a devastated, war-torn neighborhood with Jan at night. I was wearing a brown cowled cape, and we were walking amongst the people there, counseling peace at a gathering where strife was being urged. So many pregnancy, childbirth, and baby dreams, so many dreams where I am given the baby to hold. 1985, Book 5, page 62. I dreamt I skated a perfect circle 2 or 3 times. It's simple. 1985, 1986 to 1986, Book 7, page 166. Quote, a long dream. The only distinct part was a couple of feelings. One of a wholeness and utter ease of body, mind, spirit, like a glow, very warm. The other was like that same feeling in action. October 21st, 1987, Book 9, page 66. Quote, I had a strange dream. I was in a cafe with some women friends. I think there were 4 of us, including me. We were sitting around a curved booth and someone, me, suggested we all astral travel together and go visit one of the women's husbands. We locked thumbs and bingo, away we went. We instantly were at this woman's husband's shop, a mechanical type shop, and he was with a friend of his, someone I used to know, and the husband was kind of braggingly relating to his friend that he had or was having an extramarital fling. This was unexpected and distressing, of course. I was then instantly aware that I was alone, back in my seat at the cafe booth, thumbs tightly clenched, but not my companions who were still gone. I was shocked and scared because I hadn't thought we'd transported bodily, but only astrally. Apparently we'd gone body and all. End quote. 2024. After an evening of watching surfing videos, I went to sleep and had such a visceral dream of actually surfing. I was getting the hang of it on not too large waves, and it was so real. I could feel the power of the ocean swells balancing on the edges of those. It was awesome. April 11th, 2006, Book 148, page 35 to 36. Quote, I was at a swimming pool and I'd taken Mum there, shown her the ropes over and over, shown her the way, guided her, and suddenly, spontaneously, I dove straight in from the edge, a shallow, swift, straight as an arrow dive. And then I swam so swiftly and powerfully, I was at the other side almost immediately. I was awed and amazed by this. End quote. June 29, 2009, Book 186, page 1. Quote, as soon as I slept, I dreamt and it woke me up. All I can recall is I was running super fast, as in inhumanly fast, on some gray, dusty, featureless plain. When I woke up, I opened my eyes. There was this greenish, yellowish, light energy pattern of long, loopy lines, a whole knot of them moving fast, maybe 3 or 4 feet in diameter. I stared and blinked and tried to clear my eyesight. It persisted for about a minute and then moved off and dissipated. 1985, November, Book 6, page 40. Dreamt, 2 spiritual people, a man and woman, bathing the multitude in love, rejuvenating everyone, making whole. Then an old East Indian turbaned sage yogi was projecting holographic ghostly images of camels, horses, people running and moving across a stage and through an audience. End quote. October 11th, 1985, Book 6, page 143 to 145. Quote, long dreams last night, now mostly faded. One part is vivid. I went to a cave, an oracle cave, a crystal cave. Beautiful, magical place. Mysterious and glowing, dazzling, illuminating. Last night on the news, there was a segment on a Japanese potter, Kita, K-I-T-A, who is showing at the Victoria Art Gallery. His work is quite exquisite and special. He was 11 when the atomic explosions happened in Japan, and he witnessed the aftermath. His work presents a choice: the beauty and serenity of peace or the horrendousness of war. The peace pieces are refined and delicate bowls, plates, and vases. The war pieces are pottery death masks, images akin to what he saw, the molten human visages, carbonized, disarranged, unrecognizable. He uses a very special glaze technique called Johann glaze, which 13th century potters in Asia knew, but the secret died with the last masters, and until now has been unknown. Kita locked himself away for years and worked on rediscovering this glaze. It is superlative, like pools of solidified crystal, mesmeric, enchanting, depth and light combined. The cave in my dreams seemed to have the qualities of this Johann glaze. September 2nd, 1986, Book 8, page 127. Quote, dreamt a few nights ago that I saw two dirigible blimps on a collision course and saw them collide, but it wasn't actually a collision, but rather a merging, like an object and its mirror image at an angle will appear to merge. The message given or thought was this imagery, which was modern, glassy, shiny, and an old type shape of flying machine or craft, was that the future and past were coming together in the present simultaneously. 2016. Quote, I dreamt that an authoritative female voice said to me, welcome back. This happened immediately after I had resumed Tonglen practice, after a lengthy time of not doing it. I'd emerged from despair and picked that practice back up, and I knew without a shadow of a doubt what welcome back meant. March 27th, 1999, Book 56, page 201. Quote, I dreamt I was in a huge old metal elevator, like a fair ride, going up to Meta's place. Meta means loving kindness and benevolence. 2020. I dreamt I was with my baby self, about 1 year old or younger. I was in my carriage, which was parked on a lush green lawn overlooking the ocean from an elevated spot. Behind me was a large, gracious, pale stone building, maybe an estate. I was healthy, very content, serene, even blissful, enjoying the view of the ocean. Then my older, higher self was standing beside my baby self. Next, my frail, too thin, unwell 6-year-old self was standing there too, and my older, higher self stood next to that child self and put a reassuring, comforting, compassionate hand on her shoulder. Actually, at the time of being 6 years old, this is just a footnote, I did almost die from an illness and became extremely thin. Around 2012 at the pen. In this dream it was nighttime, moonlit. I was walking along a forested path, wide, level, and gently curving. I came upon a group of glowing white horses resting by the side of the path. They were so delicate but strong and perfect. The stallion raised his head to appraise me, and then rested again at ease, and I carried on. Those horses reminded me of unicorns. I think that will be it for this episode 7. Episode 7, yeah, I think I'll sign off now. Until next time.